we have jumped forward in time. A myriad of things has happened in the intervening years.
Like
we
what?
do not know what they are yet. There will be times where we will need to go back and figure out what has happened.
Whoa.
Actually, well, you know what, Mindy, since you asked, I could tell you one thing.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Sometimes you just gotta ask.
No one has seen or heard from Vespa Blatmasters in a year and a half.
Oh no, that was Zlobs' best friend outside the
Oh.
group. Oh.
You asked.
God.
Oh, I didn't ask. Why did I get punished?
So
Because that's how it works when I ask questions.
Because that's how it works when Mindy
The first
asks
thing.
questions. So I provide context, and that context is these folks are all in high school. And high school is interesting and different, but similar and scary. And everyone's just going to be working their way through it. It is, in point of fact, the first week of their freshman year. And I think that's maybe all we need to get started.
Well, sounds great to me. It's season 3, episode 95 of Blittle League. Les Trundle as freshman.
Good morning, Somerville High. This is Assistant Principal King wishing you a very happy Friday. I hope your first week has gone well, and for the freshmen especially, I hope you are all adapting nicely to your new schedule now that you're here on Highland Avenue. I was just perusing the club list for the year, and I want to thank all of the students who have already signed up for these crucial extracurriculars. But if you haven't, rest assured that you've got a big, exciting opportunity to do so next week at the All High School Club Open House. In addition to the open house, I've got 3 more announcements. First, the Blaseball field will be open all weekend for anyone interested in getting extra practice outside your mandated weekly requirements. Thank you to the janitorial staff for cleaning up the mess made yesterday. Second, if anyone has any information about the vibrating orb that's been hovering above the indoor pool, please let anyone in the Applied Defense Collective or one of the hall monitors know. Third, you may notice that I've been looking particularly scaly this week. It is simply because I am molting, which is perfectly normal and not a cause for concern. Thank you to everyone who has asked how I've been doing. That's it for today. Go Seedlings!
Go Seedlings.
Go Seedlings.
Go Seedlings.
Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. Those were morning announcements. Those morning announcements happen in your homeroom class, which also happens to be the first period of the day. Zlobs, Morgan, Mindy, Darby, you're all in this class together. What class is it? What's the subject?
It's one of my favorites of the day.
They're all your favorites.
I said one of my favorites.
Is
We're
it
in-
all top favorites?
It's.
Yeah, it's a top
I
favorite.
would say it's definitely in one of my top favorites. It's physics. We're in physics class.
Physics class. Perfect.
This is a pretty fun class. I do like physics.
Yes,
the labs
it
are
is.
fun.
Yeah, all experiential.
Mhm. Aggressively so.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, who is the teacher for physics? And do you like them? That's an important one as well.
Oh, she's very mysterious. Her name is Scarlet Catwalk. We're not allowed to call her
Perfect.
Miss Scarlet or Miss Catwalk.
Yeah.
So what
Scarlet
is she? So it's always Scarlet Catwalk.
Mhm.
Got it.
Yeah,
must be
that's-
called that.
That is why we got off on the wrong foot. Our first class is that I kept insisting on calling her Catwalk.
Yeah, it's it requires you to really reprogram your brain, Morgan, especially so early in the morning. This is first period after all. And you have to get used to calling someone their full name as, as is listed on the notebook, which is just weird.
Mhm.
So
Zlobs always gets it wrong. Constantly.
You're
He's trying his best. He's trying his best.
Usually the number of syllables is right. You generally have it at 4 syllables each time. It's just the syllables themselves tend to morph. So yeah, this is and we like Teacher Scarlet Catwalk despite the rules. Is that fair to say?
She's very rule-based.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted us all to take this class first thing in the morning because it's really good for Zlobs to get his most challenging classes out of the way first thing. He decides to leave early from school a lot, so I think physics is an important one to be at regularly.
I would say the world decides that I leave early from school.
Fate often demands you leave school early. So, this is the end of week 1. This is a lot of experiential learning here. So, what group project are the 4 of you working on in here?
Ballistics.
Yes.
Ballistics. Perfect. Okay, so there's a presentation. It's the end of week 1. You've all been kind of working on the concept of ballistics, projectiles, how mass operates under great force and at distance, and all of those things. And so, at the end of the week, each of the work groups needs to get up at either the front of the class or actually, let's explore the high school a little bit. Let's see. Indeed. Or outside near the field, but not on the field, to test out what they're working on. Mm-hmm. So the first group is your friend, formerly of the Transit Trillium, Inbound. Mm. Inbound is working with a couple of other students that you don't know. But Inbound, by the way, has indeed changed over the last few years. So let me ask you, how did he change?
So I feel like you have an idea.
Well, I was going to ask if he changed, and I'm so excited. He got puberty installed. Mm-hmm. he has like on the outside of his like display face, it's just like some like fuzz.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's constantly static building up in it. Mm-hmm. So every so often he'll be talking and there'll be this loud like crackle off the side of his head because he's running a constant low current through his peach fuzz, which, as an unintended consequence, causes his voice to crack. So Inbound is there. Inbound has also taken to wearing a t-shirt, which is fun because Inbound, like when Inbound was playing, Inbound was in uniform. When Inbound was on the traveling team with you, he was in the traveling team kit. But without that, he's just walking around as a robot. But now, in high school, he wears a t-shirt. So he's very excited about that and his beard. All right, everyone. It is time to have an active demonstration of something very interesting, which is firing precisely up. Now, the reason why I say precisely is there is, of course, a bit of a limit to the ability for a human being or other sentient, non-silicon-based species to determine what up actually is. Up could be a little off. Mercifully, because of my gyroscopic stabilizers, I am incredibly aware of what precisely up is, and I can correct for windage. So thanks to my fellow squad mates here, they have constructed a crossbow, and I'm going to shoot it straight up.
Ooh.
And so Inbound fires it up, directly up, and then everyone stands there, and you lose sight of it into kind of the low fog, and you're all wondering like, should we be covering our heads? And you've known Inbound long enough to know that if he was worried, he would tell you. But instead, what he does is just turn the crossbow upside down. And after 15, 16 seconds, the crossbow bolt slides perfectly back into the crossbow.
Inbound.
Well done.
Up.
Well done.
Thank you. Scarlet Catwalk is standing there at like a dais, like a teacher's podium, which is strange because you're just outside in the field, but she brought one with her. And so she's standing at it. Terrific. Next group. Impress me. And she gestures to all of you.
Thank you, Scarlet Catwalk.
We're going to prove ourselves to you. That's what's going to happen next.
With our human slingshot.
Zlobs,
Yes.
get it. Get in the sling.
This was a particular challenge for our group, which we wanted to take on. We are all aware that most ballistics are a very regular shape and very aerodynamic. Zlobs, as you can see, is a very irregular shape.
Hey.
Not only that, but his joints also move in some very unexplainable ways.
Scarlet Catwalk interrupts you only to clap and gesture to the rest of the class, and shouts out this call and response thing she's been doing. And she yells, "In physics!" And everyone shouts back, "Assume a perfect sphere!" And then she says, "In life!" And then everyone shouts back, "Do not assume a perfect sphere." And everyone kind of claps like this weird chant. But that sets the stage, and then she gestures back to you, Mindy.
Exactly. We started our methodology by closely observing Zlobs for quite some time, both in stillness and in motion. Darby?
Is there a slideshow?
We are outside, but yes, there is a slideshow.
I'm holding them. I'm holding the
Zlobs is
big
holding
cover
our
paper.
slides.
I've got a Pico projector, and I'm like feeding it electric energy.
We have crafted our human slingshot to account for all irregularities in Zlobs' irregular shape and movement. And more specifically, his natural regular shape that is not a sphere, because we do not assume spheres in real life.
Everyone claps when you say that.
Thank you. We have a hula hoop obtained from the gymnasium, and we have calibrated the slingshot such that Zlobs will go through the hula hoop, which I will be holding in the sky at a specific calculated place, and without me moving the hula hoop, he will go through it safely.
Zlobs.
Yeah.
Mindy, did I get everything? Okay.
Yeah, Morgan.
I'm looking at the strap that we're about to slingshot you in.
Yeah.
It's got a thread coming from it.
It has lots of threads.
But it's been pulled. It's coming. There's like a crack in it. Is this okay?
Tie it.
Okay. I'm not great at tying things.
Tighter.
Do we need to
like
attach
tighter.
this?
Morgan, tighter.
I broke it. Oh, no. Okay, we'll just make it work. Zlobs?
Zlobs?
Yeah.
You can put the slides down now.
Oh, okay.
All right. I think it's time to roll and see what happens. So each of you is going to roll. And we're going to need to get to a 40. That is to say 10
Easy.
full successes. But this is going to be cumulative. So, Morgan, you're first going to roll to fix the slingshot. Then, Mindy, you are going to roll to fire the slingshot. Zlobs, you are going to roll to be as abnormally Zlobs as possible instead of a perfect sphere. And then, Darby, you're going to have to roll to stay either perfectly still or make a very minor imperceptible correction.
Mhm.
So let's start with Morgan. Morgan, what do you think you should roll for this?
That's an amazing question. Boy, I wish I could roll charm.
Hmm.
But given that it's rubber slingshot, I think I'm gonna try and melt it in place. So I'll use weird.
I love it. So fingers crackling with electricity, you're going to try to reset the molecular structure of this thing.
Yes. I got one dice. Come on. There we go. Well, 10.
Oh. All right, perfect.
Why were you sad?
I got the 3, and I was like, oh, but then I realized 5 plus 3 is plus 2 is 10.
We are going to save. So here's how it's going to be: is 40 plus magnificent, 30 to 39 partial success. Anything else? We're going to save the narration until the end. Mindy, launch the Zlobs. What do you think you need to roll for that?
Well, I think I need to roll sharp.
Yeah, sounds about right to me. Fire away.
I did a lot of careful calculations for this. 8.
All right. And Zlobs is launched. Zlobs, you need to maintain your Zlobs-like shape and overall distribution of mass. What do you want to roll for that?
Well, obviously, anything related to Zlobs is cool, so I'm rolling cool to assume to be Zlobs.
1,000%. It's the best Zlobs you can be.
Yeah,
2d6 plus cool.
I would argue also that since I am Zlobs, it gives me an advantage on being more Zlobs.
Absolutely. I'll give you +1 on top
Thank
of
you. Amazing. 11.
All right. Fantastic. And finally, Darby, you are aloft in the sky, wings beating, the whole of Somerville High School and the field laid out beneath you, holding a hula hoop just so. What do you think you need to roll for this?
Well, I do think it's tough because my wings are generally more for gliding, and this is more of like a hummingbird type situation, which is not my typical way of flying, and requires a lot of strength that I've been working on to be able to do this, because I'm trying to increase my different types of flight to include things like hover. So this is quite the physical feat.
Absolutely. An endurance exercise. 2d6 plus tough, and good luck.
11.
Oh! 10 plus 8 plus 11 plus 11 is 40 on the nose. So let's walk through it chronologically. Morgan, give us a sentence, then Mindy, then Zlobs, then Darby.
All right.
Narrate out what we see.
As I'm adjusting the Zlobs and the slingshot, I notice that the rubber straps are slowly coming apart. So I use electricity as fast as I possibly can to weld the little small strips together. But I'm nervous because this throws our physics slightly off.
Mindy. I last night spent some time sewing loops into one of Zlobs's jackets so that we could put the slingshot through it to make sure it was, falling on the same place on Zlobs every time consistently. And then I drove to his house early this morning to help him pick out an outfit that coordinates with the jacket that I put those loops on. I think because I was up so late sewing and up so early helping Zlobs coordinate an outfit, I wasn't paying quite as close attention to the measuring tape that I was using to pull it back. And I know that I was off by just a little bit.
Zlobs.
Here's the thing. One of the coolest animals of the ocean is obviously the starfish, and one that automatically can assume any imbalances. So I assume the starfish position to be the cool sea creature that the world expects of me, and able to automatically, using physics, correct myself and coolness as I'm flung up into the air in perfect ragdoll form.
Darby.
As I had been taking off, I had noticed that Morgan and Mindy were a little bit nervous about this. So I was kind of nervous myself, waiting. But then as I saw Zlobs in starfish form just coming at me, I thought, thank goodness I'm not going to have to try to make some sort of imperceptible move. And he just flies right through the hula hoop and then does a cool little turn and grabs it on the other side so that then I can fly him back, holding him in front of me, and he's hanging from the hula hoop. So not only did he make it through it, but he also made the catch.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a very nonchalant catch. You're just like one-handed, whatever.
It's a whatever kind of catch.
We do loop too. We just do a little.
You do the big loop. The slingshot is kind of theatrically folded down. Morgan and Mindy, you're kind of standing there in like a tada pose as Zlobs and Darby land. People clapped for inbound. There's a roaring cheer for you.
It's
physics
whatever.
demonstrated. Physics demonstrated in two very different ways. Zlobs, give me a 2d6 plus cool one more time.
Oh, one more time? Yeah, sure. 10. That's a lot of cool.
Okay. Everyone there riotously cheers. Except for Wax Zlobs.
What?
It gives you a thumbs up in the background.
I give a very imperceptible nod to him.
And yeah, he goes by WZ these days. And I'm so glad you rolled a 10 there, because now he goes to high school.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
that's all the world needs. It's a high concentration of Zlobs. Zlobs is in one point.
Yeah. It's even an N of 1 on the Zlobs meter is like a dangerous amount of Zlobs. We're at N of 2.
Oh boy.
So yeah, with that, Scarlet Catwalk looks mysteriously into her pocket of her like flowing robe for some reason, and then looks up at you. Of course she does. Claps.
The most mysterious of outfits.
Claps, and the rest of the class starts. The rest of the class goes through all of their projects, and it's very fun. Doing very well. So a lovely morning. You obviously spend the rest of your morning. You're not in every class together, but you're in most of your classes together. And one thing that so there's a period right before lunch. That's the open period for extracurriculars. And so all of you, because you're in because you've already chosen your extracurriculars for the year, you already have a place to go. About maybe 2/3 of the school has already opted into their extracurriculars. So right before lunch, you all head into your respective extracurriculars, and we're just going to take a little time in each one. And this is a way for us to for us to learn a little bit more about the school as well. So here's what we're going to do. I will talk about each extracurricular you're in and where it is. And it's because it's the end of the first week. All the new people who are new, all the new freshmen that have already that have joined are asked at the end of the first week to say why they've joined and what they hope to get out of the extracurricular. So let's start with the hall monitors. Their headquarters, the security station in the utility wing of the basement. Mindy, you are standing in front of the fellow hall monitors, a small but mighty group. And even though she is a sophomore, she is the undisputed head of the hall monitors. Lisa Lemonwedge gestures you to the front of the room and says, Mindy, after your first week, why don't you share why you're here and what you hope to do?
Thank you, Chief. Well, with the hall monitors, I would say it's not so much about what I want to get out of it, but what I want to put into it. And that is my very best effort. I believe that the hall monitors do a lot of good in our community. And I hope that I can quickly prove myself to be a valuable asset to the hall monitors and to all of you. And I promise my combat skills will be improving right away.
You instinctually look at Coriander Balson, who has a very heavy cast around her left arm, who nods at you. And Lisa Lemonwedge says, of course, we're thrilled you're here. Coriander Balson nods and rubs her cast. The Umpire Training Academy. Floor 1, Splort's Wing, locker room. Zlobs, you are standing in front of a group of hardened future umpires, and Larjo, who of course is here with you.
I got Larjo.
and yeah, what do you have to say to the group?
Hey everyone. My future self in an alternate timeline was an umpire, and that was cool. And I feel like I can do a lot of help, and that umpires need to be unflappable. And I pride myself of being unflappable, and I can take a lot of punishment.
Everyone, and to a person, all just kind of looked and nodded. And a couple of people said audibly, even though they don't think they did, God, he is so cool. The Fictitious Government Society. Floor 2, Social Studies Wing. The Lyceum. Beautifully arranged chairs in concentric semicircles. Canterbury Chill hands you a big heavy gavel, Morgan Woodstock, and you have the floor.
What is a student government? I know that we're all asking that question for ourselves. For the school, ultimately, it's something we have to decide for ourselves. I'm here to understand what it means to be a student here, to work for people who need me, who need us, to take a stand and to make a difference at this school. So if you believe that you can make a difference at this school with us, then I implore you to rise. Boom, rise, boom.
Ooh, everybody rises. there are a few students that were clearly on the fence about sticking with this that have decided to. Canterbury Chill, in this like big, handsome leather tome, writes down a note. We are gonna kill it at the open house, and then like slams it with great gravity.
As I pass the gavel over to the person next to me, I give like a little wink, and then I pass it over.
You hand it to Franklin Coyne, who is thrilled. Finally, the Literary Guild, Floor 3, Enrichment Wing, the library. Toodle-Hoo is finishing up her slam poetry. It is enthusiastic because Toodle is not nearly as talkative as her mother, but she took a big step, wearing her little denim jacket with the word chaos on the back of it. Oh. And
so cute.
She taught, and it's this poem about a storm and flying in a storm. And Darby, you sort of follow it, but you're probably the only one. But when it's over, everyone starts snapping. And you stand in front of the checkout desk at the library next, and all eyes and ears are on you.
Hello, everyone. I am here because I think you're all really brave. And I'm brave too, but in different ways. I didn't write it as poetry yet. I didn't know I was supposed to. I like to write a lot. I've been writing mostly just for myself, though. I haven't shared it a whole lot, but Zlobs, my friend Zlobs, did tell me that it was pretty good when I showed him some things that I used to write. And so I decided that I wanted to be brave and get even better at writing by joining a community of fellow writers.
Snap.
And yeah, I'm an angel. And I find that writing is a really helpful way for me to understand particularly humans, for those of you who are humans, but also those of you who are not, to understand you a little bit better and also understand my bizarre mind that sometimes I have trouble understanding in human form. And so writing is a way for me to do that. Thank you for welcoming me. Huzzah.
Snap. Yeah, Darby, you walk back to what is quickly becoming your favorite chair in the library.
It's so cozy.
It's the best.
There's so many couches just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's all couches and beanbags.
And there's a on the table nearest to the couch that you sit on, there's this tiny little beanbag that Toodle has claimed as her own. Her phone buzzes, and she takes it out and rolls her eyes and puts it back in the pocket of her denim jacket. And about a minute later, Darby, your phone buzzes, and it's Jessu, and it just says, "How did she do?" Oh my God.
I'm gonna just text back, phenomenal. You should be so proud.
Jessu ha-has the comment, then it goes away and is replaced by a heart.
Oh.
Lunchtime. Floor 1, cafeteria. The four of you are gathered around the lunch table with Harper's Bazaar, Nicole Orby, and Plank Tanaka, 3 members of the clowning and circus fashion hobby group. Harper's Bazaar is wearing an incredible hat, and they're enthusiastically bouncing ideas off each other about how to decorate their table for the open house. Zlobs, you are covered in fabric that Plank Tanaka is currently pinning into various shapes, while Nicole Orby takes notes and makes suggestions. All of you are debriefing and laughing and talking about what you all did at the end of your first week and how your clubs are going in the first week and who's cool and who's scary and who you're trying to impress. And it's just really nice. Question, how is the food at Somerville High School?
It's pretty bad.
It's bad? All right.
Yeah.
Is it more
different
about
every
nutrition?
day.
Oh, different every single day.
Every single day. They never repeat anything.
Yeah.
They
Some
have
things
never repeated a meal ever.
Yeah,
As far as we know in history.
Mm-hmm.
it is. It's something of a test kitchen, so they're experimenting a lot. Some things we've learned quickly are riskier than others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Morgan.
Yeah, Zlobs.
I can't really move right now. Can you throw another pickerel horseradish tot into my mouth?
You got it, buddy. I'm going to use the physics that I learned in class today, and I'm going to try and projectile it into your mouth. So just keep your eyes closed and open your mouth.
2d6 plus sharp.
You're a pitcher. Why are you using physics? Use your heart. Use grit.
Maybe that's Morgan's hubris. It's +1.
Yay!
Yep. The first one actually finds a home. Unfortunately, it's in Zlobs' windpipe.
It was chat. It was a 2.
And so of course, Zlobs, you start moving. A bunch of the various safety pins start popping out. Nicole Orby has to give you a solid slap on the back, and boom, it flies out. You do get Morgan on the third try. One of these tots into Zlobs' mouth, and honestly, it kind of tasted better when it was in your lungs instead. But it's nutrient dense. That's the important thing.
It's fine. It's pretty good.
So yeah, you're just kind of enjoying all of this.
There's also a pin sticking out of Zlobs.
There's also it's in there. It's in there now.
Zlobs. I take out my first aid kit.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty deep. I think you might need a suture.
You don't need a suture.
It's pretty deep.
I have band-aids.
Oh, do you have a suture?
You don't need a suture. Why?
I'm pretty sure I need a suture. Not right now because it's still in there. If you take it out,
just
I'm gonna
wants
need
a
a suture.
I take the pin out.
Oh, it's blood everywhere. Oh no. Oh no.
This is a safety pin, and yet something about Zlobs' physical composition at this point is like just sparking blood.
It's getting all over the fabric. Mindy, I'm going to need a suture.
You're doing this on purpose.
I
Just
can't
stop
help it.
bleeding.
How do I control my veins?
He's pushing it out, I swear.
I'm perfectly still. It's a
Fine. I take out my suture kit.
I'm sorry I had to make you take out your suture kit. I was happy leaving it in there. You know I took it out.
You're not going to go through your whole day with a pin.
I have.
So the suture is getting knit into place. Darby, you kind of turn and kind of pull some of your notes off the table so that unlike a previous draft of the short story you're working on, it doesn't get covered in Zlobs' blood at a lunch table. And as your
that one was thematically okay though to get covered.
It works. So as you're turned, Darby, you see a student walking around looking for a seat. Like all the tables around you are full. Yours is mostly full, but one of the students you sort of know has left, so there is an open seat. But yeah, this person just kind of walking around in not necessarily certainly not panic, but with like a growing desire to sit down.
Hey, friend, you can come sit with us if you want. We have a seat.
Darby, give me 2d6 plus sharp.
Thought you were going to say charm, and I was going to be really worried. Well, it's still going to be a 5.
Oh
No, sorry, no, 7. It's a 7.
What?
Sorry, I did -1.
Ah.
+1.
Okay. 5 would have been bad. A 7. You kind of call him over, and he seems to be surprised. Like he looks at you with like a bit of a start, and walks over. And on the partial success, you realize as he's sitting, and you didn't realize this as he was walking because places and spaces, but he doesn't have a backpack, nor does he have a lunch tray. But he just sits down, and he looks at you, and like there's, like Zlobs and Nicole Orby are in between you and whoever this teenager is, and he just kind of looks at you and kind of like whispers like, "Thank you."
Who are you? What's your name?
He leans back. Paul.
Well, welcome, Paul. I'm Darby.
Thank you.
What? Did you not get lunch? Do you want me to go grab you lunch?
Are
you okay?
I would have lunch.
Can I hear this interaction?
Yeah, Morgan, give me 2d6 plus weird.
Oh, all right. That's 2. And that's gonna be a 3 plus physical dice, man. 7.
Partial success. You do, but you don't kind of realize what's happening till after Darby leaves the table. So Darby gets up and is like walking back towards the line to to get more food, even though she has plenty left on her tray.
Huh.
And you look at who you thought she was talking to, and there is nobody there. She was whispering back and forth with an empty seat at the table.
Whoa.
I'm still suturing Zlobs.
You are indeed engaged in the act of a suture. So yeah, Mindy, you're suturing. Zlobs is looking around, wondering about what Morgan is doing. But yeah, he's a generally bad patient. As is often the case over all of these years of band-aids and suturing. It would all go so much better if he would just stop fidgeting. But that is not the case, nor you reckon it will ever be at this point.
I like to think he's trying to challenge me for practice in the field.
That's really what it is. And you're getting better at it. But anywho, yeah, Morgan, you realize that Darby had a quick hushed conversation with no one at all, and then went to get more food.
Hey, Zlobs. Hey,
Yeah?
folks. Do y'all want any more food?
Always.
Pudding pops? Okay, cool. And then I'm gonna follow Darby.
And you do. Darby, yeah, you're in line getting a melange of weird looking things from the cafeteria line. In addition to the kind of those fish tots, there's also motor oil pudding pops.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't know if they're made of motor oil or simply taste like they are, but it'd probably take a couple of those.
Yeah.
And yeah, Morgan joins you in line.
Oh, hey, Morgan.
Hey, what you doing?
Oh, I'm just getting food for Paul, the kid who joined our table. He for some reason didn't have a lunch tray, so I don't know. He seemed nervous. I think maybe he isn't used to high school yet or something. So I said I'd get him some.
Is this a prank again? Are you pranking me?
What?
There's nobody at the table. Oh, Darcy, there's no.
What are you talking about?
There's nobody at the table.
Yes, there's Paul joined the table. I don't know who he is, but his name is Paul, apparently. He's still sitting there.
I know every single person at that table. There's no person named Paul at that table. Oh, Darcy.
You can't see Paul. Look, nervous little wreck over there.
There's no nervous little wreck. The only nervous little wreck is freaking Harper's Bazaar after all of her clothes is getting soaked up with red Zlobs juice.
Yeah, that's not good.
All
so
right,
you're telling
Bob,
me you don't
all set?
Mindy, thank you. I want to say thank you.
Of course.
You
Now,
don't get mad at me, right?
I never get mad at you.
I pull down my shirt a little bit more, showing another pin.
Okay.
Oh, Darcy, there's nobody over there. I don't see anyone.
I don't Okay. I'm still just gonna get this tray because maybe just you can't see him. Maybe he's. I don't know.
Fine.
That's
and
so.
If no one eats it, then Zlobs will eat it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's get back there. I've got one of everything.
Yeah, and with a kind of a mountain of food, you kind of go up to the end of the line, grab your napkins, round the corner, back out, and Paul is gone.
Okay, well now with Paul, I don't see Paul either.
Who's Paul?
Yeah, I grab a pop.
There was a kid who was wandering around, and I told him he could sit at our table, and he sat at our table, and his name was Paul, and he didn't have lunch, so I wanted to go get him lunch. But now Morgan is saying that there was never another person at our table. Did you all see? Well, there was a lot going on, so you probably wouldn't have seen Paul anyway.
I didn't see Paul, but I was pretty focused over here.
I'm gonna do a loop just around the cafeteria and see if I can find him.
Sure. This is going to be investigate a mystery then. 2d6 plus sharp.
Do I get an extra +1 because it's about a specific person?
Absolutely, it is.
Well, in that case, it's going to be a 13.
Oh, wow. On a 13, you can ask two of the questions from the investigative mystery list, or you can ask one question phrased however you want.
Ooh, okay.
And let's tell the audience, by the way, why you now get a +1 in this way. So every club at Somerville High School, go Seedlings, is confers certain benefits that kind of reveal themselves at certain times. And for those in the literary guild who become scholars of the human condition, they get a bonus to investigating a mystery when it comes to learning about a specific person. So you can ask two questions from the list or one question however you want it.
I'm going to ask all from the list. The first one is, where did it go?
It is in the hallway. It is going somewhere else in the school. It's not leaving the school. It is just going somewhere else.
Okay. What here is not what it seems.
Well, Paul is not an invisible person. Paul is not a mortal person at all.
Paul's not a mortal person. Zlobs, eat the rest of this food. I gotta go. Paul's out in the hallway, I think. I need to go find him. I don't know. There's something weird going on with that.
All right.
I mean, we should probably join you, right?
Yeah. You can come.
I gotta eat all this food.
I'll carry the tray.
Oh, perfect.
So yeah, and all of you learned all of this, Darby, by kind of like doing a loop and kind of deducing and all of this. So the fact of the matter, and this is kind of why you landed where you landed. The fact of the matter is, this cafeteria is full of some of the most capable people in the city. Like, of the millions upon millions of people that live within the sphere of influence of the Boston Flowers, if you were looking for 100 or 200 that could do, with their powers combined, anything, they would be in this cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is, none of them seem to notice an out-of-place teenager walking nervously through their ranks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also kind of suspected that he wouldn't be leaving the building, because why would he come here and then leave?
Yeah.
So you think he's still here, and you think he's not of this mortal earth. So, thusly armed and with your team intact, how do any of you want to find him?
I could give it a shot.
You could give it a shot.
He's not mortal, whatever he is. He's not a human, so
Okay. Well, you
might feel weird.
You spoke to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tune in. 2d6 plus weird.
Did you learn anything about him, Darby? Any
He seemed
personal
nervous.
details or secrets?
No, just
seemed
that he called
nervous?
himself Paul. He seemed nervous. He didn't have a
Okay.
backpack or anything. He seemed out of place, but like he meant to be here.
All right. There's a lot of people I don't know in this school still. And other people might be nervous because it's the first week of school, but I'll try and tune into Paul.
2d6 plus weird.
7.
Okay.
Tricky.
You can ask one question from the tune-in list.
I will ask what is it planning to do right now? What is Paul planning to do right now?
Paul is planning to be found, specifically by all of you.
Oh.
So you kind of weave your way through the cacophonous tangle that is a collection of a couple hundred super-powered young minds. And you find this outlier thought kind of wobbling like a tuning fork amidst the rest of the noise. And you realize that whoever this Paul person is doing nothing to mask his thoughts. And you get, because of that, some surface level thoughts, which is more or less repeated. Well, hopefully they'll find me. They should, after all. They should. They will.
I found him.
Oh, that was fast.
No, I'm not surprised.
So, yeah, like there's you are aware of what he's planning to do, but not where he is. However, anyone else who wants to do something to actually try to make use of this information gets a +1 on their next roll. So, you're kind of all aggregating. Morgan, it's becoming apparent to you, especially after Mindy targeted him, that this person that this entity is in fact an entity.
Mm-hmm.
So all of you are now kind of detective moding. Lunch is almost over. So you're starting to run out of time before you'll be late to next class. But yeah.
Okay.
He wants to be found. That's what he was thinking about. He wants us to find him.
All right, Zlobs, O'Darcy, Mathers. I know this school in and out. And I sort of like hold an imaginary gavel as I'm talking. I know this school in and out. And I know the places, but not just the physical locations. The places that people hide emotionally. I know where people go because I know why they go there. So if you were somebody who wanted to be found, where would you go?
The bathroom.
What?
Zlobs, do you have to pee?
Yes.
Okay.
Cut to 2 minutes later, outside the floor 1 bathroom, Zlobs emerges.
Okay, so what were you saying, Morgan?
I feel so deflated.
You were really building up to something.
I hand Morgan a fake gavel again.
No, just
I hand Morgan a grenade.
no, that's worse. I can't hit a
grenade.
Okay. Think, Morgan.
What's wrong with the bathroom? That's where I go when I'm scared.
All right, where is a place that someone might hide?
But while wanting to be found.
Exactly.
Under the bleachers.
Under the bleachers. And then I recall like all these different stories about people talking about how they kissed someone but was rejected and they ran into the bleachers, or they were being bullied and so they ran into the bleachers, or they didn't want to go home that evening to see their parents because they had a fight with them, so they ran into the bleachers.
Am I onto something?
Under the bleachers.
That seems appropriate. Morgan, give me 2d6 plus charm, because this is essentially you interpreting the drama of the human condition.
That is a 10.
Perfect. You will not be late to class. All of you, Trundle.
As a team.
To the bleachers overlooking the Somerville Highschool Blaseball field, known as the 8th Hill. The bleachers are kind of tall and grand. On the scale of Blittle League Longstalk Field all the way to the Boston Garden, you're about here now. And there are people on the sidelines of the field, talking, playing catch. But you go under the bleachers, and the afternoon sun is kind of beating down. You're walking through these shadows, and sure enough, Darby, Paul is here.
There he is. Paul.
Zlobs, Morgan, Mindy. When Darby says Paul, she says Paul to a big patch of nothing about 10 feet away. But that nothing, as it turns, becomes something. As if kind of throwing off a cloak of not being and revealing its being. So as it turns, as he turns and faces you, you see him standing there. Shorts, sneakers, long sleeve t-shirt, and a pair of flowing white wings.
Whoa.
Friend of yours?
I hope to be. I have news about Maeve.
What?
We'll end it right there.
Huh?
Who?
Whoa.
What?
Wow.
Maeve? Who's Maeve? That was a
7 more sleeps.
what?
Assistant Principal King sits in her office chair. She spins to face the window behind her desk, watching the comings and goings of cars and buses. She feels an itch and wriggles until another patch of scaly skin falls off. She wraps her tail around the textured coffee mug, brings it to her face, and inhales. This is going to be a good year.
I can't believe they're still mad about that field.
I know. Maybe if we like bake them a bunch of cupcakes or something.
That could work. Do you
Stay
think
up all night baking.
That sounds nice. Do you think they'll let us out of detention for that?
No.
Hmm.
But they might still like us more.
That's a good point. Thanks for being my detention buddy.
Anytime. And always.